Hi coloring friends, welcome back to my channel. I am going to work on this picture today and just do a little color and chat. It is in A Million Sloths by Lulu Mayo, and it is actually my first picture I'm coloring in this book, so I'm excited to have one finished from this book. I'm going to go ahead and move in a little closer and I'll get started. All right, I'm going to work on this little bird here. I am going to be pulling from the Black Widow sets that I have. So I have the Monarch set, the Cobras, the Scorpions, and the original Black Widow. So I'm just kind of pulling colors that I feel like would work with this page. So I wanted to try and get a color and chat out for the month. I like to have one a month at least. And I did do the birthday tag, um, which was a color and chat of sorts. But um, May has been an interesting month for us, so I just figured, and it did affect my channel to a certain extent, just my ability to get videos out was definitely affected this month. So I made sure it was okay with my husband that I shared how our month went. Um, so I'll just backtrack to Mother's Day. I woke up with a text on my phone from my husband, and he works the midnight shift, so he should have been home by that point of the morning. And he had texted me and said, um, when you wake up, give me a call. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, this can't be good. So, of course, I called right away, and he let me know that he was in the hospital, that he had been taken there during the night from work, um, because he was having chest pains. And so I'm just like, okay, just floored. um, And as it turned out, he had an arterial tear, which then had generated a very large blood clot, which was impeding blood flow, which caused the chest pain. So, I none of my kids were up yet, so um, you know, I found out when we could come see him, and how he was doing, what procedures they had done so far, all of that. And then it was Mother's Day, so I wanted to, before things got too crazy, I wanted to make sure that well, I wanted to call my mom and fill her in, of course, on what was happening. And so I called her and apologized that I was going to be ruining her day with bad news. um, and then filled in other family members, made sure his parents were all filled in and everything. And then I wanted to make sure that we got over there as soon as we could to see him. So I got my kids up and filled them in, which was not fun at all. um, Especially for my youngest. she's 9, and she, like, as soon as I even said the words that her dad was in the or that daddy was in the hospital, and she just started crying, and then I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to cry right now. Um, yeah, it was rough. I just tried to hold myself together and make sure she knew that daddy was being taken good care of, and he was already on medicines to help him, and that the doctors were, you know, really good and doing everything they could, and he was going to be okay, and that we just were going to go head to see him. And my husband had warned me on the phone that um, she may not be allowed in to visit because he was in the critical care unit. And they have an age requirement of 12 and up to visit in critical care. So, but he was like, go ahead and bring her on. And the nurse said maybe they can make an exception. And so I'm like, okay. So, of course, I had to bring her anyway because I can't leave her here. So we all piled in the car and headed off to see him. And um, so we get there and go in, and the person at the reception desk is not the friendliest of people. And I really think that probably she's had to tell a lot of people who are in very emotional states that, you know, enforce the rules of visiting policy. And I'm sure there are people who don't take it well. So I think that's probably why she was so blunt about the policy. And I get it. They have a reason for the policies. But anyway, so she said, I let her know we were there to visit my husband in critical care, and um, she said the visitor policy was only 2 visitors at a time, and that my youngest couldn't go up. Well, she said the kids couldn't go up, all 3 of them, and I let her know that, my older 2 were 14 and 15, so they were within the age range to be able to go. Let me just shift this over a little bit here. So she said, okay, well, it's only two at a time. And I said, well, can I just trade off and have one go up with me and the other one can stay with my youngest? And she said, yeah, but she needs to wait in the car. So I'm just like, okay, okay. Um, I am extremely emotional and upset at this point. But like I said, I understand the policies and that they need to be followed, and that's what she was doing. She was doing her job. Maybe not with the most care, but like I said, I'm sure she's used to being yelled at for having to enforce the policy, and she's probably just blunt because she's been dealt with people. So, I was just like, okay, well, and my oldest, instantly after she heard that, volunteered to take my youngest out to the car and sit with her. So, my son could come up and go up first and say hi. So, she headed out, and we headed up, and Yeah, it was scary. It was not a fun day. Not fun to see your loved one all hooked up and but he was doing well when we got there. He had already been on blood thinners for a bit and the chest pain was gone and they had already identified the issue. So, he wasn't feeling bad at least. And he was finishing up lunch when we got there, so that was a good sign too. Um, very, very grateful to the hospital and all the nurses and doctors there that took such good care of him because, yeah, just it was very, very appreciated. Um, so I let my son chat for a bit. Um, we wanted to make sure that if they had any questions or were feeling scared, that they had a chance to, you know, be heard. Um, so then after he was done visiting, I had them trade out. So I walked him down and then went and got my oldest um, and we decided when we were up there that we could maybe have a video call with my daughter, my youngest, while she was out in the parking lot waiting. So we did that. That was brutal because she was in the car crying because she couldn't go in and see her dad and um yeah, so and all she could see was him on the screen, all hooked up to stuff and it was scary. It's scary for a 9-year-old. But um trying to get myself back together. Yeah, so they finished the conversation, and we had planned that at night before she went to bed, we would do another call him and do another video call at home. Um, so we did that, and um, we didn't we didn't really have dinner that night. Everybody kind of I think we were all just numb. My youngest didn't leave my side for the rest of the day. She was um, I had said at one point, we were kind of hanging out in the kitchen together, and then I had said at one point, because it was a pretty nice day, that I wanted to go out and read on the deck for a little bit and enjoy the nice day. So she said, "Well, I'll come out with you and read." So she found one of her books and brought that out on the deck and sat right beside me, and she was such a sweetheart. Um, so yeah, then um, they kept him for another day because they wanted to do another angiograph and see if blood the blood thinners were doing anything for the clot and just see how things were progressing. Um, and unfortunately, they didn't really do a whole lot while he was in the hospital, but I guess they weren't really expecting them to, so um, they did release him then. And then he came home and had 2 days where he needed to be, you know, really restricted, not doing a lot at all. And then he was able to kind of build back up after that. So that's a little bit of why my videos have been a little bit more sparse this month because we were dealing with all of that fun. Um, so as of now, he's doing well. Um, we are still, it was a few week wait for him to get into see a cardiologist and start, become a patient, and sort of get some more answers on what is going on. Because I know, as you can imagine, we're not in the major heart attack risk category yet, age wise. We're in our early 40s, so this is all a lot. um, but he's been doing good. He's made a lot of diet changes, just to go along with the medication that he's on, and um, been taking daily walks with the dogs, which the dogs absolutely love. And it's been good for me too because I've been going out and joining him as much as I can. Um, so yeah, we're moving forward, and um, so he sees the cardiologist in 2 days, actually. So it'll be good, I think, to get some more answers, hopefully, a good plan of going forward, and all of that. But yeah, a stressful month, and emotional, and just, yeah. It's been something else. Let's see. And then on top of that, May is this is good stuff, but May is the end of school year, concerts and picnics and all of that. So it's, a pretty busy active month, which is wonderful because we went through a few years where that wasn't possible. So it's nice to be able to go to their concerts and for them to have end of year parties and outdoor events and all of that. I'm definitely thankful that that is back as a thing. It definitely fills up the calendar though. So we've been busy with a lot of that. And then yesterday I took my oldest and they got their braces off. So that was another big exciting thing. And my youngest actually even lost a tooth last night too. So it's just very eventful. Um, I had to laugh. My youngest also got to bring her in third grade. You learn the recorder at their school, and um, then at the end of the year, they get to take their recorder home. So that came home yesterday. And she's just, randomly playing away on that recorder. And my husband got up and he was making himself lunch, and he lasted about, I don't know, 3 minutes. And then he was like, okay, that's enough of that for now. Uh, but yeah, she was excited to have that home with her. And I don't know what else. That's definitely the big stuff going on. I have been working the past few days on my coloring outside the book video. I'm hoping if the wind cooperates today that I can get that out tonight. So that one you should be able to watch before this. That's the plan at least. And then we are at at the end of the month here, so it's going to be time for wrap-up videos, which I need to kind of lost track of what I had completed coloring wise. I definitely did still color quite a bit. I just didn't do the filming as much this month, but as I've said before, coloring, is a sanity saver for me. It's relaxing, it relieves my anxiety. So, yeah, definitely still colored quite a bit and super thankful for it too. In fact, this page, the whole reason I started it was because it was one of those nights where I was sitting in bed and I couldn't fall asleep, and I was like, I just need something like uh, monotonous to color. So I was like, I flipping through books and I found this page with the flowers, and the one night I just sat and colored purple flowers, and it was like, it was exactly what I needed to do. So, and let's see. I think I will probably just finish up this owl here and then cut the video. And then hopefully you'll see it shortly after the coloring outside the book video goes up. See. It's actually kind of nice out today. I thought it was supposed to be rainy, but it's definitely cloudy, but in the 70s. Oh, another exciting thing that we had happen this month is we got our above ground pool back in. Um, and I say back in because last April we had this, we drained our pool and then they were going to replace the liner. It needed replacing. And then we emptied the pool so they could replace it. And then that night, this big windstorm came through, and I heard this loud crash and looked out the window in the dark, and I could see where there used to be pool wall, I could see our shed instead. And I'm thinking, that's weird. It was dark out. So I uh, put my, we don't have lights back there, so I put my phone light on and went out there. And sure enough, the wind had pushed in the entire back wall of the pool, and I was seeing the shed through the frame of the pool wall. And we sort of attempted to repair the frame that had been snapped and then straighten the wall back up. And then we were like, okay, this isn't working. We're going to have to replace it completely, get a new pool. And here we had just bought the liner, which is not cheap either. So we had the liner, which also was impossible to get at the time because of COVID. So we were, fortunate that we had managed to obtain that. And then I went to the pool store and they were like, because the liners are, you can't get liners right now. You can't get a pool right now. Like, they are not selling them anywhere. So I was like, well, but we have the liner, and they said, well, they don't sell the pools without liners. I mean, they come together. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess this is it then. We're just not gonna have the pool, um, which was a big bummer. I know we're lucky to have that, but I was very sad that that happened. Um, so yeah, we ended up taking the whole thing down, and toward the end of the summer, I did find on Amazon a pool that was being sold very cheap. I mean, way less than, to replace a pool in full. And it was because it was being sold without the liner and without the pump. And our pump was still good from the old pool, and obviously we had bought the liner to be put in the old pool. So we had both of those things. So I snatched that up. Maybe it wasn't late summer. It was like midsummer. But then at that point, there was nobody to come put in the pool. That was the deal. So we then had the pool. We had all the components we needed. It was just the people who would come to put it in were not available. So we stuck it away in our shed and just said that's it for the season, and we will have to just call early next season to make sure we can get an installation date. So that happened. That happened last week, and it is up and going, and it is nice to have it back. Now we just need some warmer weather so we can use it. It was this past weekend, which we didn't fully have the pump going yet. It was in the 90s, oddly enough. So my younger two kids did get in and swim a bit. That water is cold because it's just we filled it up from our hose, and obviously hasn't had time to heat up yet at all. So it was cold water. I was not interested in getting in that, but they swam for a little bit. But it will be nice to have that back again. Especially because I just found out that our local pool isn't going to be opening at all this summer because they can't get enough lifeguards to staff it, which is really sad. So we did do that. Well, we did that once last year, and even then they had half the pool closed because they didn't have enough lifeguards on staff to man the whole pool. Crazy, crazy times. But yep, so that was a good thing. Excited to have the pool back for sure. It'll be hours and hours and hours of fun times during the summer, so let's see, get that up there. Okay, well, I think I have rambled on enough today. Um, hopefully that wasn't too much of a downer of a video. I know we had, you know, the the goings on of the house were not happy all month. But whoever is out there listening, I appreciate it. I definitely enjoyed the relaxing time coloring for sure. I hope everyone is having a good end of their May, and hopefully your May was a little bit more peaceful than our May was. But if not, I hope you're, you know, pushing through it too, and, wishing everyone all the best. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.